breaking news on WFLA Now. Here's JV Buno.
Eagle 8 HD flying live over Tampa, where a semi-truck has crashed into a home on Maple Lane. This is on Sly and Maple. A tractor trailer colliding with a home. The circumstances of the crash still unclear at this time, but we're being told that there are no injuries at this time, as we see here that fire rescue on scene, as well as some other first responders. Let's check in with Eagle 8 HD's Paul Lamison here in Eagle 8 HD over the scene of the crash. Hey there, Paul. What are you seeing?
Hey, Josh, this certainly is. This is a semi-truck that actually didn't navigate that turn, and look where it ended up, right up against this house. And the amazing part is there was one person inside that house, and there are no injuries, either to the driver or to the person in the truck. I'm going to pull out wide and show you where this truck was coming from. You see, that's Sly Avenue right here with the yellow stripe down it, and that's Maple. And I don't know if he didn't know where he was going, maybe over-corrected on that turn right onto Maple, and he just went right off the road, took down a power line, and right into the side of the house. I'm going to push in a little closer and show you the roof of that house. You see how it's just split and splintered. The good news is nobody injured, no injuries in the truck or to the person inside the house. We'll be over at the scene, and we'll give you more information as it becomes available. Back to you guys. Yep, whenever you need us, we'll just keep circling. Just let us know.
Paul Lamison here with us, everybody, in Eagle 8 HD, just providing a live report in our 4 o'clock newscast. Hey there, Paul. You're live with us on WFLA Now. Paul Lamison, you have us in Eagle 8 HD. You're live on WFLA Now.
Oh, okay, they're on web. Okay. Hey, JB, I don't know if you can hear me now, but we're up. We're flying around this. Here's the semi-truck. You can see we're going to go all the way around it and give you a different perspective of what it did to this house. It's really crazy. Look at this. The truck crashed through that power pole. You see it hanging by the wires, and it took off part of the roof of that semi-trailer and into this house. And as we come around, you're going to see just where it came from, down that road, missed that turn, and ended up right here into the side of this house. And we're going to flip around and show you one person inside of the house, and they were fine. No injuries involved in this, which is incredible, because if he wasn't able to maybe turn it just a little bit, they would have plowed directly into that house. He was able to turn and miss, and so the house is a loss. The truck should be able to be pulled out, but here's a good shot. I'm going to zoom in and show you how the truck crashed right up onto the side of this house. He just kind of basically peeled that part of the roof back as the truck careened out of control into the side of this house. Now again, I'm going to show you, this is Sly Avenue where the emergency vehicles are parked. That part of the roadway is shut down. This is over near Tampa Executive Airport, near 301, out in this eastern Hillsborough area. There they have the road closed down. But again, that's where the turn, he must not have made that stop or didn't know the stop was there, maybe thinking he was on a different part of this roadway. But the sign came up, the stop sign, and the truck was not able to stop. And there it is. There's the power line down on its side. You see it just crashed right through there, splintering parts of the tree, parts of the power line, and it went into the front of this house. And that's the damage you see. The house into the side of, or the truck into the side of this house. This could have been a lot worse if the Okay, sounds good, Linda. Okay, Webb, so what we're doing is we're going to do another live shot for WFLA News Channel 8. We're in our newscast now, but I'll keep telling you what's going on. But again, we're over this semi-truck into a house right here on Sly and Maple Lane out in eastern Hillsborough County. I'll show you where we are. That's 301 right there, and that's a little section of Sly. I don't know where the truck was going, but he was coming down this roadway, wasn't able to negotiate the stop or the turn, crashed through this power line. You see it hanging on its side and into the side of the house. So again, amazing that there was a person in the house and they're okay. The person in the truck okay as well. The truck is going to have some damage. The trailer has damage, and the house probably has a lot of structural damage because it just took off the whole front side of this house. And again, could have been a lot worse, but if you live in that house, that's a bad situation. So again, we probably have about 4 minutes till we hit the newscast again. But again, we're at Sly and Maple Lane where a semi-truck crashed into the side of a house.
Paul, this is JB in the Stream Center, just letting you know that you can prepare for your live report here coming up on our First at 4 newscast on WFLA News Channel 8.
So there's the fire rescue truck. They're the ones who responded. And then here, that's part of the power line right there on the roadway. There's part of the power lines. You see they're down. And so they're going to have to keep this closed so they can shut power off. But again, the front of the house has a lot of damage. Also, the top of this semi-trailer, you can see. Okay. Yep, loud and clear. Okay, sounds good. About 3 minutes till they hit us again.
All right, everybody, JB Buno here with you live in the WFLA Now Stream Center. Again, following this breaking news story where a semi-truck has crashed into a house in Tampa. This is at the intersection of Maple and Sly, not too far away from the fairgrounds, basically right in that area near 301, 75, and I-4. And here on... Everybody, we're going to switch gears here really quickly and show you a shot here from the ground. There's a shot of the house. We have a camera on the ground and we have Eagle 8 HD up in the air. And here you can see the damage to the house here, again, on Maple Lane in Tampa. The circumstances of the crash are unclear, but what we do know, we have been told that one person was home at the time. That person is not injured, and that there have been no injuries reported as of now. That includes, of course, the truck driver who we're being told was not injured in the incident. Bringing in WFLA Now's Daisy Ruth here with us, everybody in the Stream Center. Daisy, here we have the ground shot, taking a look here at the property where the crash occurred, where the semi-truck went into the house. There you see the response here from first responders, including fire rescue, and this happening about an hour ago.
Yes, this ground shot really kind of puts everything into perspective. You see that truck kind of skirted the porch of the house and kind of went into what probably is maybe a living room or a dining room. And if you were that one person in the house, that had to be a very scary situation. It is quite a good thing, kind of an amazing thing that nobody was injured, that one person in the house or the driver. We saw from Eagle 8 HD that the trailer of that truck even has some damage in addition to the damage, the structural damage in the house, on the house as well. And
here we see the property across the street. Let's go back to Eagle really quickly here, everybody. And you see that there are semi-trucks that are part of what appears to be a warehouse across the street. So we don't know exactly where the truck came from or what led the truck to go into the home, whether or not that there was some kind of a mechanical failure with the truck or whether or not it was due to the driver. We're not exactly sure at this time what led to the truck going into the home. but it happened around less than an hour ago here at Maple Lane. Again, no injuries reported here on Maple Lane in Tampa. One person home at the time, and this is the shot here, everybody, from Eagle 8 HD. So we don't know if there really has been any power outages reported here in this area, but we do have the power line down here, Daisy, and there you see it kind of dangling, that piece dangling there from the wires that are basically right above the property adjacent here to Maple Lane.
Right, it is amazing that that pole didn't come the whole way down and the wires didn't start a fire. You can see the electric crew, whether that be probably Tico or another company out there to try and repair that. You see that line definitely diagonal.
We haven't been told whether or not the driver of the truck is still on scene and talking to fire rescue or talking to law enforcement. We haven't been told whether or not that person has been taken to the hospital for any precautionary measures. As soon as we learn any details about the driver, we'll of course pass it along. We have been told that one person was home at the time, and that person again was not injured. This didn't appear to be, Daisy, a direct smash hit into the center of the home. This is more a hit here. You can see to one of the side pieces of the structure itself. So not really through the front door, so to speak, more of hitting this area here on the right side of the property.
It's almost as if the driver realized what was happening. Can't speculate whether he lost control or what happened there, but he definitely, the driver, I shouldn't say, he skirted the house, not a direct hit, just kind of skirted with the side of the truck there, with the trailer there, the truck itself
and
not hitting.
And here's the ground shot showing that piece of power equipment, the power line itself dangling here, and you see that they're taking a very close look at that. That's obviously a major concern with the crash itself, with a live power line here. And there you see electrical crews here on scene addressing that specifically here. So again, this happening a short time ago, sometime in roughly, we believe in the last hour here, again on Maple and right near Sly Avenue, East Sly Avenue in East Tampa. One person in the home at the time, not injured, and nor was the driver, we're being told. This is an incident that could have been far worse. But fortunately for the driver and, of course, of the person that was currently home at the time, no injuries to either of them. And this appears to be just a case of structural damage. Not exactly clear from the angles that we've seen thus far of how much damage was done to the truck, but clearly significant damage. Here you can see that main archway from this ground shot here, the main archway to the front of the home that is pretty much sawed in half. A lot of damage here to the front right end of the home, and even to the point where you see here that the address numbers on the center of your screen have been pretty much sawed in half. It's a 4-digit address here on Maple Lane, and we only see the 5 and the 5, so that really goes to show that it went pretty much at an angle, but down the middle of that front section of the home, striking the right side of the structure itself, again here on Maple Lane.
I saw a comment asking what company the truck came from. I saw when our photographer on the ground was zoomed in, a website, but I thought I could see him. I even have my contacts and I can't see very well, kind of cut off a little bit with the trees over there. But I am trying to look up that website. I'm not sure if that's a website of where the company, or if it's a different website, but I was interested to see what that might lead me. But that website, at least what I could see, what I wrote down, isn't taking me anywhere right now, JB.
Eagle 8, everybody still in the sky above East Tampa, giving us an aerial view here of the crash site. Rain is starting to come down, though, I'm seeing here. And again, we'll show it to you here really quickly from Eagle 8 HD. You start to see some of the rain droplets. There is some precipitation in the area, so we're not sure exactly how long Eagle's going to be able to stay here with us. In fact, might be heading back to home base soon here. But yeah, there you see the warehouse on the other side of the roadway here. So I would imagine that trucks are coming in and out of that, what appeared to be a rear entrance to the property of the warehouse. I would imagine trucks are going, back and forth on that street quite a bit. And here we have an incident of the truck going into the home that was located across the street. And here we have power crews working on the power line here. Again, we saw the piece that was dangling. Part of the power line is down here on Maple Lane. Haven't heard of whether or not that's contributed to any power outages in the area, but crews here working on scene. And then, of course, what they'll have to do is they'll have to remove the semi from the property, and then we'll get, of course, a better idea of the extent of the damage to the property. But I would imagine, Daisy, that when you remove the truck here, you're going to be able to see right into somebody's living room or right into somebody's dining room or basically whatever is on the right side of the home itself. But the first thing they got to do, of course, is make sure that the area is safe and repair these power lines. And then I would imagine it then becomes an incident of documenting the crash site, taking pictures, gathering what they need for the crash site investigators to piece together exactly what happened. And then they'll, of course, remove the semi-truck from the property. And at that time, well, you would see exactly how much damage there is to the front of this home. But thank goodness that not too many people were home at the time. It was just one person in there at the time, and they weren't injured. We don't know if they were in the back section of the house or if they were in the backyard or on the left side of the house. We don't know exactly where they were in the home at the time, but very fortunately that they weren't injured.
I am seeing some comments with the name that I thought I saw on that truck, but guys, in the comments, if you are commenting back and forth with each other, we haven't specifically received any information from the sheriff's office or fire rescue about the company where this truck came from. But yes, we have some commenters, JB, saying where they believe this truck, where the company that it came from.
And yeah, there you see the warehouse. We were talking about and some of the trucks that, of course, are using that. There's that could either be a rear entrance or a front entrance, but it's an entrance to the property to both warehouses, the larger one there on the left and the one there on the right that's now out of view. But as we were noting, that it's very likely that semi-trucks are making this drive down Maple quite frequently to access Sly Avenue, to access the entrance to the warehouse itself. And here we have everybody now, a ground shot, getting back to our ground crew, everybody. WFLA, of course, with a crew in the air, a crew on the ground, and this shot showing us just the dangling piece of power, of the power line that's actually down and on those wires. So the first priority, of course, is ensuring that this is a safe area and making sure that they, maintain the integrity of the power line here. And this is a great close-up shot that we have here, just showing and then, of course, the power crews that are now working on this section of line here as well. Speaking of power, I just typed into Tico, Maple Lane, and Sly Avenue, 720 customers affected. Okay, so caused by pending investigation, but I would imagine that this is what this is. Yeah, we can't say with certainty, yes, but we would imagine that the 700 plus people here without power likely due to this area of East Maple. And if you are in this area right now, Tico is saying on their website that your power is estimated to be restored by 6:15 p.m. But again, that is an estimate that can change if you are in the area. I did see a comment mentioning about 700 people affected, so I figured I would head on over to Tico myself and see what we could find out if you are in the area and watching. This is what we are assuming is causing the problem, but that is a pretty, this is right over by Tampa Executive Airport. So. And now let's go back to the ground shot. We have a shot of the rear of the truck here, and then you see, of course, the line where we, of course, cannot cross, and they've put this line up to prevent anybody from walking past it as a result of the power crews that are working here to fix the power line that is down. But here we see the rear of the truck. Obviously, the truck itself, if most of the damage, we're probably talking about the front of the truck itself, not too much damage here from the rear view. We saw a little bit of damage at the top too. We did. And some of of course, the roof damage to the house itself that Paul Lamison had noted. We'll stay with you here for another couple of minutes here, everybody, on WFLA Now. Daisy Ruth, JB Buno, and Eagle 8 HD's Paul Lamison. I believe that Paul is preparing for our 5 o'clock newscast. Let's see if we can check in. Maybe we have Paul Lamison and Eagle Otherwise, he might be preparing for WFLA News Channel 8 at 5. And I believe that Paul is preparing for a 5 o'clock newscast. So for those of you with access to television here in the Tampa Bay area, WFLA News Channel 8, your 5 o'clock newscast begins in 4 minutes' time here in Tampa Bay. Speaking of Eagle, there's the shot from the back end of the property here. And there you see what it appears, Daisy, that in the top right, the semi went into a tree. That it actually struck that large tree here on the right side of the property, so that it went through the front section of the home on a sort of on an angle, and then it collided on not really the backyard, but more the side yard. Mm-hmm. It collided with that tree where it came to a rest. And again, that driver is not injured, as well as the one person in the house also not suffering any injuries in this accident that just happened this afternoon. We're not sure exactly the specifics, if the driver, I'm seeing some comments, a medical episode, whether the driver just couldn't make that turn, made it too wide. We don't know any specifics yet. I keep checking my email to see if we get anything from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, but we have not received anything yet. Obviously, this is very early in the investigation. This just happened probably around an hour ago, within the last hour, just a pretty recent accident. Yeah, and we don't know the rate of speed either of when the collision occurred. Of course, you have all of this momentum, all of this force with this massive semi-truck, whether or not the truck was traveling at 20 miles an hour, 40, 60 miles per hour, exactly what the speed was, because it obviously did a good deal of damage, but how the rate of speed might have affected the actual collision itself between the semi-truck and the home, we're not exactly sure. There's a lot of unknown here, but the one piece of information that we're glad to report is, again, that nobody was injured. I saw that somebody here, WFLA top Facebook fan Vicky, is noting maybe could the brakes have given out, the brake line have given out. Not entirely sure, but it's a very scary thought. Scary thought indeed. But again, I would imagine that semis here's a great shot of the warehouse here in the bottom left, and then Sly Avenue here, that access road to the warehouse parking lot, and all the different bay doors for that warehouse. So very, very likely that the truck itself was probably making an exit, as we would imagine, from the warehouse and making a right-hand turn when something went wrong. Or perhaps was trying to come into it and something occurred. Maybe the truck driver was coming down Sly here from the top right-hand portion of your screen and was unable to stop to make the turn and then went into the home. We're just not sure at this time as to which direction the truck was traveling from and whether or not the warehouse was a departure point or an arrival point. But we know, of course, where it came to a rest, and it came to a rest after striking the home here that had one person inside, the one person who probably got quite the scare, but luckily at least no physical injuries to note, as we've been told here by responders on scene. So everybody, that's going to wrap up our coverage here on WFLA Now. More on this story on the WFLA app and on WFLA.com, and more coming up on WFLA News Channel 8 at 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. 8 is on your side. WFLA News Channel 8, your evening newscast coming your way. Be sure to listen in for Paul Lameson's live report from Eagle 8 HD. For Daisy Ruth, I'm JB Buno. We'll be back, everybody.